Hey, what's going on, guys? No introduction needed. I'm going to be talking about that new Kanye album entitled Donda. It's been about a week or so since this dropped. I didn't expect it to drop when it did. I think it was last Sunday. And I think I've listened to it about, I want to say about two or three times since it's come out. And like I said, no introduction needed. I'm just going to get right into the album. This one was thick. It's a total of 20. Well, I'm just gonna go into the core songs, not like There's a couple of bonus, I guess you would call, tracks. I didn't really get around to listening to some of those, and I'm not really here to talk about controversy or anything um, relating to some of the featured artists on this album. I don't think that it's worth even going into, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to avoid it entirely because I don't need to talk about it, and I don't really want to. Um, I'm just here to talk about the album itself. Track number one, Donda, Chant. This one wasn't really like a song, but it was a unique opening to an album just because it's like just the name Donda being repeated over and over is like almost like a spoken word piece. Really cool, repeated in different tones. It's just one woman's voice. I'm not sure who it was, the vocalist, but anyhow, really cool intro to the album. Kind of sets up this like I don't know, a unique scenario. Not even sure what to call it. Very thought provoking to me. And then that bleeds right into the first actual song of the album entitled Jail. Right off the bat, the crunchy synth, almost like guitar sounds, were what caught my attention. There's a really cool filter thrown on the vocals, which kind of add a bit of some rock flair to this song. And then the vocals are fleshed out, Kanye's vocals are fleshed out by this really big chorus, which widen the mix in like a really cool way. Um, to kind of go into Jay-Z's verse, I think he adds some motion to the song. And he's got a ton of quotable lines, which, was to be expected. Um, my one complaint with it, I really love the hook on the song, but my one complaint is there wasn't enough drums for my liking in this song. They don't make an appearance until the very end. And the drum pattern itself sounds great. I thought it was cool that it was added in the section where it's just on its own. So, the drums have some more space to breathe and captivate the listener a lot more on their own. I just wish that this would have been executed in a way more akin to like In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, kind of like a slow burn, and then the beat drops, and then that's when the real song starts, and we didn't really get that here, and that's fine. I just wish we had more of the drums on the song. And I enjoyed that the production, they play a little bit with different timbres and pitches in the drums, which you don't hear often in some production nowadays. So I thought that was cool. The next track, God Breathed. This song's got a thick mix. The choirs give this song a really ethereal feel. And some of the samples, transitions, and even bass line are reminiscent of some of the production that we heard on Yeezus, which happens to be in my top three of Kanye's albums. So that, kind of gives you an idea of how I'm feeling about the album so far at this point, anyway. I enjoyed the verse from the vocalist Vori. I haven't heard him before, so I wasn't familiar with him, but I feel like his singing in the song adds a lot of melodic, beauty to the song. Interestingly enough, it feels like the bass in this song is the only even remotely percussive element on the song, which, I think is kind of a bold move to go into a song with, to have a song have no drums in it at all for Kanye is not something that I would expect to hear, but I liked what I heard. Moving on to track number 4, Off the Grid. Honestly, Cardi and Foreign slid on this one. They did what they needed to do. My head was bobbing the whole time. I really love that thick bass line. It kind of it gave me a little bit of UK grime, and it gave me a little drill, like some kind of fusion between these genres, which I feel go hand in hand. Overall, it's just a hard song. It made me want to dive into a mosh pit and just go crazy. The hi-hats are so spicy on here, also, and they keep the song moving. You could mix that in combination with the stellar performances from Cardi and Fivio. I think it's overall a great song. This one was a highlight for sure. Moving into track number 5, Hurricane. I had heard leaks and that snippet that Kanye had tweeted however long ago it was, whenever Yandi was the expected album to release. And I liked what I heard back then. I was not expecting to hear The Weeknd on the hook. Honestly, think he was an exceptional choice to be the vocalist to sing the hook and most of the song. And I think that out of all the versions of this song that exist, because there are a few, I think that this had to have been the best possible final mix, the final version of the song. There's lots of cool production choices, like, for example, the final parts of the hook, where there's like a huge chorus, and then it quickly cuts out, the reverb and volume cuts out abruptly, and that's kind of cool. It has a lot of different colors, a lot of different movement, shape to the soundscape. But as much as I did enjoy this version of Hurricane, I do wish that original elements from the original mix, including that original chorus that we heard. I forgot the vocalist's name, but I really enjoyed his raw vocals in the song. I wish that those had made an appearance, even if it was just for a certain section, or even just a little cameo. I would have liked to have heard that, but it's all good. And I almost forgot, Lil Baby had a feature on this song. He slid. Honestly, his verses are always consistent, so I wasn't expecting anything less than a solid, decent performance from him. Moving on to track number 6, Praise God. Travis and Ye opened this song up, and I enjoy hearing their voices together. But to be honest, Travis's feature felt more like an obligatory cameo than anything else. It felt really subdued, minimal. I don't want to say forgettable, but it wasn't memorable either. Keem's verse, I think, is the one that stood out to me on this song. Sonically, it was really cool. It was a nice experience. He had some vocals that reminded me of 645 AR, or almost tiptoeing into the area of hyperpop almost. So I thought that was cool. But honestly, the instrumental itself didn't stand out too much to me. To be honest. Moving on to track number 7, Jonah. I didn't have a lot to say about this one. I just think the instrumental was very airy and smooth on the ears, very easy listening. And I did like the hook and the vocals from Vori, of course. And the verse from Lil Durk was solid. Moving on to track number 8, Okay, Okay. I'm not a big fan of this one. The production on the song, the verses were okay, but the track itself, the instrumental, it just felt really minimal. It didn't really add anything to the vocal performances themselves. A feature for the hook itself probably could have made the song more interesting. I feel like Kanye's voice on the hook, I just think someone else could have done it better, but it is what it is. And Lil Yachty was on this song. I'm not huge on his vocals. I'm not a big fan. I do commend him for improving as a rapper, but it's something about the timbre of his voice that I just don't. It's not for me. And Ruga's verse, I think, was the highlight on this song for me. From the lyricism to his singing, I just enjoyed his verse the most, and it made this song bearable. Moving on to track number 9, Junior. I did like the organ that was used in the song, but the song itself felt kind of strange. I chalk it up to the ad-libs and the lack of drums in certain sections, so it just kind of felt like almost disjointed in a way. The one thing that was kind of killing me was the repetition in the organs. The organ if it's a sample, it was very short and it became very repetitive as the song went on. So it was kind of hard to listen to. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is one of the lowest points on the album so far. Moving on to track number 10, Believe What I Say. There was a lot of groove to this one, and the use of the Lauryn Hill sample I thought was creative. I thought it was cool. And I love the bass and the bass line of the song. Both, they have to go hand in hand. The bass has to be nice, and the bass line itself has to be nice. And Kanye's performance on this song felt like Kanye at his finest. The verse, like the spoken word verse towards the end of the song, was refreshing. It gave the song some space to breathe. I thought it was cool, creative, unique. Moving on to track number 11, entitled 24. I don't know if, well, I mean, I guess it is a sample, but the Sunday Service Choir performed on this song, and I really like the filter that was thrown onto those vocals and the mixing of them. I thought it was a really cool sound. Kanye singing on this one is pretty good too. Good. I just know Melodyne was putting in work on this one. This song was very heavy on the gospel energy, which I do like. The percussions were minimal, featuring something that sounded like muted rim shots. It did the drums did what they needed to do on this one. Not too much, not too little, just enough. Moving on to track number 12, Remote Control. I love the percussion on this one. It's so many different samples and sounds coming together to create a cohesive drive to keep the song going. And the Young Thug feature on this song is probably the best part of the song. It was like his vocals were just like sprinkled in like cilantro and salt, and it just made the song pop so much. And the melodies created like a tasty consistency that I didn't know that I needed. So when I was hearing it, I was like, oh, this is good. Also the engineers threw a vocoder on Thugger's vocals. Wasn't expecting to hear that, but hey, we got it. I could do without the sample towards the end. You're probably aware of what I'm talking about, and it's whatever. Not sure why that's there. I haven't looked into the lore of the usage of that sample, but whatever, I guess. Definitely overall, this was a massive highlight on the album for me. Moving on to track number 13, Moon. This perfect features coming together to create what I consider a rock anthem. We've got Don Toliver and Kid Cudi hopping on together to create what I consider a beautiful fugue in the classical sense of the word. You've got melodies coming from every vocalist on the song, kind of chasing each other to create melodic phasing. And, you've got Kid Cudi's hums towards the end. What's not to like? It's awesome. What more could you ask for? Maybe some drums if you want to ask me. But overall, I did enjoy the song. I thought it was good. Moving on to track number 14, Heaven and Hell. I don't know how to feel about this song. I enjoyed the crunchy square bass that we hear towards the end. And Kanye's vocals are kind of like all over the place. Maybe in a good way. I'm not really sure. The instrumental was really cool, and it reminded me a bit of Graduation, maybe. So, I don't know. Track 15, Donda. Poignant sampling of Kanye's mother, Donda West. And the choirs gave this song an elevated level of beauty. Ariana Grande makes a very brief appearance on this song, like blink it and you'll miss it, pretty much. The song is presented in a really dramatic way, which plays out kind of like a motivational speech, with like the really dramatic music playing in the background. But I don't think that's a bad thing. It kind of is really thought-provoking and is presented in a way where it's meant to be ruminated and, just, what's the word? You just have to experience it. So I thought that was really, really nice. Track 16, Keep My Spirit Alive. I love the snare that was used on this song. The hook is very nice. Kudos to the vocalist. Casey, I think is how you pronounce your name. I don't know. Kanye's verse made me chuckle. I don't think it's his best, but it's fine. The one thing I noticed is the song kind of felt like it ended as soon as it began, so there's that. Moving on to track number 17, Jesus Lord. Thumpy bass, bass drum, and like airy vocal samples. I wasn't expecting to hear Jay Electronica, but I really liked the refrain. His verse was really, really, it was exactly what I was expecting it to be. Really great. And I really liked the refrain of Jesus and Lord, like the repetition of these melodic ideas, very brief nuggets, but they're there to kind of keep the song moving forward. Those subtle melodic elements kind of offer the listener some space between the bars that you're hearing from Jay and Kanye, and I don't know, it's beautiful. I like that. And the outro is very lengthy but thought provoking. I thought it was appropriate. Moving on to track 18, New Again. I didn't have a lot to say about this one. I just enjoyed the usage of the synth chords juxtaposed with the choir repeating the mantra of the song title. A really powerful experience overall. Track number 19, Tell the Vision. This one was kind of weird. It was like a mischievous sounding piano sample playing, which made me feel like I'm some kind of villain tiptoeing around looking for trouble, like I'm some kind of Scooby-Doo character. And you've got this like really raw Pop Smoke sample. I wouldn't consider this a fully developed song. I don't know if I would consider it to be an interlude either. It just kind of felt underdeveloped, a taste of something that could have been, but never was. It was an interesting idea, but I don't think it's anything more than that. Just an interesting idea. Moving on to track number 20, Lord, I Need You. A lot of reflective lyrics from Kanye on this one. Sheds light on his current mental place and kind of helps the listener understand where he's at currently and what he's been through recently. I love the snare on this song. It's really dry and sharp. The sample used in the song is lovely, and I wish it played a more prominent role in the song, but it's possible the song was just too short for it, so it is what it is. Track number 21, Pure Souls. Great vocals from Roddy Ricch. I haven't heard much from him recently since his debut dropped, but it was a pleasant surprise to hear him on here. And there was solid verses from both him and Kanye alike. It's a beautiful instrumental on this one, and the verse towards the end from I think it's Shenshei. I haven't heard of her before. I haven't heard her music before, but it felt like the cherry on top. So very beautiful. Track number 22, Come to Life. This one was very beautiful, luxurious. The piano and the synth were a highlight for me. It feels like Kanye's vocals on this one were heartfelt. You could feel what he was feeling while recording this. Overall, a very beautiful performance from all of the musicians and vocalists involved. And then lastly, I'm going to end here. Track number 23, No Child Left Behind. This one is an ambient and ethereal kind of track. I think it was an appropriate closer for the album. A nice conclusion. Short, sweet, to the point, luscious sound. Beautiful overall. I think this album was great. Like I mentioned, I've heard it about 3 times, only once in full. The string of part 2 songs towards the end, I didn't really get around to listening to them just because I didn't, I don't know, I just didn't feel the need to. I think at that point I was just kind of exhausted from the whole, it was kind of a long album, I'm not going to lie. But I did enjoy the highlights of the album. I just feel like there was a thick amount of filler on this one that I could have done without. The album overall was very minimal in its production. Like I said, not a lot of drums on this one, and I wish I could have had more percussive elements. I really enjoyed Kanye's drum sampling choices and drum patterns that he's created and sampling other drum patterns from other songs. I didn't really get a lot of that, but we did get, melody, bars, other elements that are just as important. I just wish we would have had more percussion. But anyway, I think the hype that tends to surround an upcoming album release from Kanye, kind of makes it hard for me to appropriately form an opinion on the album. But for now, all I can say is that I enjoyed what I heard for the most part. The low points, inevitably, they're going to be forgotten as the years go on. But, in a couple of years, come back, ask me about those highlights and see what I think. For now, I loved what I heard on those high points. The low points, I'm going to forget about them. But overall, a great album, great release, I'd say. I wouldn't say album of the year, but the year's not over yet, so we'll see. But anyhow, if you've watched this far, I really appreciate that. And if you've got music you want to send to me, please do. Music that you enjoy a lot and you'd like for me to listen to as well, or stuff that you've just randomly found and are like, hey, I need someone else to listen along to this new thing with me. Please, I am the person to hit up regarding that. But yeah, till next time. Oh, I've just listened to Certified Lover Boy today, so I'll work on that. We'll see when that comes out. But yeah, have a great day.